Hello and welcome to this quick tutorial on how to use the floral paper collection. This is the second collection. I have a original collection and I really love my floral papers, and I thought, hey, I'm going to make a new set. This time there are 20 in the set, and I'm going to show you here, in case you have not done it yet, there will be a zipped folder in your downloads or wherever you have placed this, and all you need to do on Apple is double click on your Mac, I should say, and it should open, or you can right click and go open with archive utility. And I believe on Windows it's also right click, and then it should say unzip folder, and just to make sure you know where you are saving it to, if it's not saving in the same exact folder. This one I have it my settings set to save at the same place it's at. And here is the folder already unzipped, and I'm going to click on that, and as you can see, here are the 20 paper textures included, and they range from different tones, different textures, more subtle, more strong, and different colors. And so the great thing with these is that you are able to adjust them as needed. So say if you wanted like a warm toned, like this paper texture, and the yellow, it might be too strong or too weak, you can always go into, when you're editing, and go into the saturation or whatever the case is and adjust as needed. You can change the coloring a little bit. There are also a couple black and white ones, and you can also take one that you really like for a black and white shot and just make it black and white. I would just remember to hit don't save once you close that in Photoshop. And so I have some open here already that I chose in advance so we can get right to it. Now here is the first image I'm going to work on, and as we go I will just show you different ways to use these. So this one is just going to be straight to the point, applying the paper over top of the image, and then how to edit it a little bit if needed. Then the next one will be where we are going to apply it to a landscape shot, and I'll show you how we can do that. This one too I chose for a purpose because it's landscape and it's also got a lighter background. And for me, I find that most textures and floral overlays, anything like that, work well on darker backgrounds. Like the background's not bright, but it's good, it should work fine. But I'm going to actually darken this a little bit to show you that. And that way you'll know with other images you may have, you might want to darken up the background a bit as well for it to show a little more, I guess, stronger than on a lighter background. And then this one is a black and white, and this is a black and white shot. And well, it was in color, I made it into black and white. So let's say you have a black and white shot, and I kind of did it in advance here, and I'm going to show you here is there where I had turned it to black and white, and then I added the overlay, but right here I went into curves to darken up the background again. As you can see, it shows much better. And then we're just going to clean it up off of her. I did a little bit, but I'm going to just show you quickly at the end how we do that. And I just did this in advance just because if I didn't, we'd be sitting here for an hour watching me edit. Okay, so let's start with the first image. Okay, so here is our first image, and this is the overlay I want to use. I chose this one because it's got nice blue tones to it and a little bit of subtle purples and pinks, and I just thought it would look pretty with this image, and it matches it really well. And so I'm going to select it, hit Command A so we can select the entire image. We can go up here to Edit, Copy, and then go back to our portrait and hit Command V. So you can go Command C, Command V, which will be Edit Paste, or we can just go up here and go Edit Paste, whatever is easier for you. Now this floral paper is much bigger than this image. This image is a smaller file just for this tutorial. The other image is a bigger file, so I'm going to show you how that kind of can change as we go. And so all we need to do is go up here and go Edit, Free Transform, and then it's given us our transform box where we can click and drag, and when we hover over the corners, it lets us move as needed. So I'm going to make it smaller so it fits over top of my image. Now, as you can see, the dimensions are not the same. So if I went up here, then I'm missing all of this. So I'm going to hit Shift and hold it down and drag it so that it will fit the image as needed. Hit Enter. And then I'm going to go to the blending mode and hit Screen. And then now, basically, that's it. But if we want to clean up some of this, which I do want to do, I don't want to completely take it off of her skin and hair. I kind of like that, but only down here on the skin. And I just want to get this part off of her face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a mask down here with the mask selection. And it's created a mask for me, and the mask is white. So I have to get my brush and make sure I'm opposite of the mask. And I'm going to choose black. I'm going to take my brush. Now up here are my brush settings. I'm on a soft round brush. Hardness is at 0 and opacity, mode is normal. Opacity is at 100%. You can lower that if you want to slowly remove or build depending on what you're doing. But I'm just going to sit at 100%. Flow is at 100%. Smoothing is at 0%. And leave everything else as is. I'm going to zoom in and I'm just going to take a little bit off. I don't want it all over her face like that. Sometimes it can be artistic too. It depends on the image and what you're trying to do. I'm going to bring the opacity down. I went down to 41. Nothing specific for that number, just dragged it down a bit just to soften the bits down here. I don't want it totally gone like how it was at 100%. And the great thing with masks is that if you overdo it, you can click back to white and add some more back if you would like, okay? So it really depends on your preference. The other thing you can also do here is you can duplicate this layer, Command J, and now it's given me more of a, you can really notice it. It's not as subtle, which is really pretty. It just depends, like it always depends. And when I'm editing, I don't really, say, okay, specifically I'm going to do this, this, and this. A lot of times I am editing, erasing, removing, going back, changing this, adding that, and it's more of the creative side of things. So a lot of times I'm not, for sure 100% what I'm planning to do. I just kind of go as I see that when I like something, then I'm like, okay, this is good. I'm happy with what I've done. Okay. And so that's really easy, nothing too difficult. And then when you're done, you can just flatten your image, save it as needed. And that's basically it. So we'll look at the beginning of this image, which is pretty and simple. And this just made it more romantic, more dreamy. And yeah, so that is the first sample. I'm going to close the files as I'm done with them so that I am not getting confused and clicking around looking silly. Okay, so the next one is this landscape portrait shot. And for this one, I want to do 2 different paper textures and I want to blend them together. And I want to show you how I do that. And I also want to show you how I can get this to fit over the landscape shot as well, because these are all in portrait mode. So we're going to start with this one, Command A, and then we're going to go edit copy again, and then edit paste. Okay, now you can see here, it's not fitting. So we can do 2 things. We can skew it, like we did originally. So I can hit Shift and make it stretch out, which works. It doesn't look bad at all. Okay, and I'm gonna actually leave it like that, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with the other one. Okay, and then I'm gonna hit again in the blending mode. We're gonna go to screen, and I'm gonna create a mask, and again, just paint over it. Get a bigger brush. I haven't changed any settings except for opacity, so I'm gonna bring it back up. Let's just go to 75. Remove a little bit on her face again. So I'm on a white mask, so I have to make sure I'm on the brush tool. And then black is selected. I'm just going to clean up a little bit off her hair and off her skin and face. Okay, and as you can see, you can hear me just clicking on my mouse. So I'm not doing a whole lot. And then the next one will be, I'm going to close this since I'm done with it, and I'm going to open the next one. I thought this could work really pretty too. So hit Command A, Command C, or edit, copy, edit, paste. And then I'm going to Command V. And now this time, instead of skewing it, I'm going to rotate it, because you can rotate these. They're set to work, you know, vertical or horizontal. So we're going to go to Edit, Transform, and I want to rotate it. We'll go clockwise, okay? And again, it's not quite big enough for this shot. This is a much higher res file, and this is another reason I'm showing you different things that I do, because some files are smaller, some files are bigger. It just all depends across different techniques and styles and file sizes and whatnot. We're going to go to Edit, Free Transform now, and then I'm going to hit Shift. Okay, and go let go of that for some reason. So Shift and drag, and I just want it to fit. It doesn't have to fit perfectly either. Actually, you can change it around as you need if you want. You don't have to do it exactly like this. Hit Enter. Go to our blending modes, hit Screen again. You can also make another selection again, like I had mentioned, with different blending modes, but I'm going to stay on Screen. And I'm going to get another mask, and I'm just going to paint over her again, just to clean up a little bit on the hair. Just make it nice and subtle and really pretty. Now, I want to show you, this looks really pretty as is, but I want to darken the background. And so I'm going to go to my background, and I am going to go to, you can either go to the burn tool, and you can paint over the background that way. And I do this last so I can see it as I'm going, instead of painting the background, or I should say burning the background darker in the first place. This way I can see it as I'm going, even a little bit on her white sweater, because it's white, and it will help show up some of those flowers there as well. And I think that looks nice that way. I can also go to the dodge tool and brighten her up a little bit. Okay, so just get a bigger brush. The exposure, oh, I should have mentioned, I'm sorry. On the burn tool, I was at a 28% exposure. I'm on mid-tones for the range, and then brush size will vary. So just to make sure and mention that, go over here to the dodge tool, and I'm going to go to about 20% for exposure. Mid-tones still selected, everything else is the same. I'm just going to brighten up on her face, okay, just so she kind of stands out really nice. And that looks really, really pretty. So here is our original, and it's still nice and simple, or you can make it more dramatic and add your floral papers. And then I'm going to close this. I'm not saving that. And then this is the last one. And so this is the texture I'm using here, the black and white one. And I'm going to just show you. So here's where I started. This was in color. Then I moved it to black and white. And then I made a curves layer here. I darkened it really well so that the texture would show up. I got my brush tool and I painted over, I created a mask and I painted over her so she wasn't so dark. And here you can see that's happening. And then I added the black and white floral paper. I went to the blending. I moved it around as needed. Now it's fitting. And then here is where I'm just doing a little bit subtle editing. And now is where I'm going to actually create a mask just one more time over the texture and get my brush. And the mask is white, so I have black selected. I'm going to leave opacity at 75 for this. Brush size, let's bring it down a bit. Mode is normal, flow is at 100. And again, I'm just going to erase some of this off of her. And that looks really pretty. And then, even just to show you one more quick thing, we can duplicate this layer. Command J, and it's even more strong. And I did that with the first image as well. I'm just going to oops, I wasn't on the mask. I'm just going to clean up a little bit that's around her. And then it just adds a little more of a vintagey, romantic-y feel. And it's really pretty, especially if, you know, you're doing bridal shots or boudoir shots, things like that, or just portrait shots where, you know, it's going to be like for a print or something. It just makes the image really stand out and gives it a really nice, you know, unique look to it. It's something you don't see often. And I don't use these a lot, but I do use them from time to time when I feel like the image just has that kind of mood to it, and it just really, I don't know, it just adds to this. And so that's it for this tutorial. Really easy to use. I hope you enjoy using these. And if you want to check out other tools in the store, there's prism overlays and other paper textures, actions, and all those other things. And you can also, you know, create unique edits where you're blending them together, like prism overlays with floral textures. Looks really pretty, things like that. And so, yeah, so that is it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching.